Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and the Dragonflight Alpha testing is in full swing, with regular weekly updates and builds. But it's going to be some time before the expansion is tested and released, and until then Blizzard is releasing new content to hold us off until the next expansion. The content update of Season 4, releasing in a few days, is going to be full of experimental updates, endgame content like raids with bonus affixes, a new set of dungeons for the Mythic Plus season, and a new season for PvP with its own unique rewards. But this update also comes with new class changes. Blizzard recently released a blue post detailing some of the updates coming to our favorite playstyles, which includes buffs to bolster some of the weaker underrepresented specs, and toning down some of the more overly popular classes. This set of updates includes both the PvE changes for dungeons and raids and PvP specific tuning for arenas and battlegrounds. And this is by no means the final list of changes, but in this video I want to take a closer look at some of the updates planned for the next Tuesday, Wednesday reset when it comes to class changes in the Season 4. But right before that, most of you guys watching these videos are still not subscribed. However, the more of you remind, the more of you do. So let's keep it going. Subscribe to the channel as well as hit the bell if you're watching these videos anyway, especially if you want to catch more updates about the Dragonflight Alpha or more content updates for the Season 4. First of all, let's take a look at the PvE specific adjustments. Starting with balanced druids, who have lost some of their AoE potential over the last few updates. Blizzard is looking to buff their overall starfall damage by 15% to compensate, and there will likely be other adjustments going forward if boomies are still struggling behind some of the other range casters. The spec of Survival Hunter is getting some nerfs which were planned for Season 4. Since the patch 9.2, Survival Hunters have risen in popularity, especially in AoE content like Mythic Plus dungeons, mostly thanks to their dominating tier set bonus, which allows them incredible AoE burst potential. This AoE burst pressure is getting adjusted slightly. The tier set bonus that passively buffs the damage a Wildfire Bomb is receiving a nerf, and Wildfire Bomb is becoming a soft capped ability, which means it'll do reduced damage beyond a set amount of targets. To compensate for the damage loss in single target, Mungus Bite, Raptor Strike, and Kill Command are seeing a slight damage buff. And unless we see more nerfs going forward, the Hunter community isn't too worried. The early numbers suggest that yes, this will be a slight nerf in your overall AoE performance, but the single target damage gains are quite significant and may overall be a slight improvement for Survival Hunters going forward. For the class of mages, Arcane Mage's clear casting procs will now last a little bit longer. This update is primarily focused on enhancing Arcane Mage's PvP capabilities, but this change is instead applied for all endgame content as part of a quality of life update. Windwalker monks are one of the most dominant classes when it comes to AoE content. Therefore, the spinning crane kick is seeing a slight damage reduction. Even though this is a damage nerf for Windwalker monks, the monk community isn't overly concerned. The damage reduction is very minor and it shouldn't impact the overall monk's performance. It looks like protection paladins are feeling a little bit too squishy. Therefore, Blizzard is buffing their passive armor to prevent some of the physical damage taken, and buffing the talent of Holy Shield in order to be slightly more effective against magic damage. Even the spec of Shadow Priest is seeing some AoE updates. However, this blue post also comes with a message. The Shadow Priest playstyle and AoE concerns are going to be addressed hopefully in the future Dragonflight update. For now, this change is just to help amp up their already existing AoE playstyle in order to help them out in Mythic Plus content. Abilities like Mind Seer, Shadow Crash, and Searing Nightmare are all receiving damage buffs. The Shadow Priest community have given a lot of feedback regarding their dissatisfaction with the current Shadow Priest AoE playstyle. So hopefully we'll see some significant updates to the base gameplay in the future Dragonflight build. But for now, these damage buffs are going to have impact in their overall AoE performance. And one of the more popular range specs for Mythic Plus content is finally receiving nerfs. The tier set bonus that summons a Blasphemy, a Purple Infernal, and the talent of Reign of Chaos can no longer function together. And the combination of the two effects allowed for incredible amount of resource generation, which resulted in overwhelming AoE damage. This nerf is going to affect their AoE and single target damage performance. This is why abilities like Chaos Bolt and Conflict Rate are seeing a PvE specific damage buff, while Incinerate and Immolate are seeing an overall 20% performance increase. Protection Warrior is also being made a little bit more sturdy, with a buff to Ignore Pain's Absorb, which has been increased by 30% and will now scale based on your maximum health, which will result in the Absorb shield being twice as effective as before. A Protection Warrior is able to convert a portion of the Rage into an Ignore Pain shield, which offsets a portion of the damage taken into the Absorb effect. Ignore Pain Absorb allows warriors to deal with the damage that isn't blockable, which is periodic damage over time abilities and magic effects. And overall, this update should allow Protection Warriors to be a little bit sturdier against the damage they cannot mitigate. Next, we have adjustments for classes in PvP, though this list of PvP changes isn't final and will likely be expanded by the Tuesday-Wednesday release of the Season 4 content. Starting this off with the class of Death Knight. The PvP talent of Spell Warden is being nerfed slightly to compensate for the recent buffs to Anti-Magic Zone. This change should allow Death Knights to be fairly durable inside of their major defensive cooldowns, but the passive damage mitigation is going to feel a little bit less impactful. Also, we have a nerf to the Brutal Grass Conduit, the Death Knight Necrolord Conduit that amps up the damage of your Abomination's Limb. This overall will reduce some of the AoE pressure that a Death Knight is able to execute inside of their burst windows. The class of Demon Hunter is also seeing a nerf as well. The Havoc Demon Hunter dancing with Fate Conduit is getting nerfed by 25% in PvP, which will result in a slight damage nerf. This damage will impact your cleave damage and single target damage output slightly when it comes to your Blade Dance PvP damage. The class of Mages is seeing a variety of different updates. First of all, changes to all three playstyles. The Necrolord Covenant Deathborn ability spell damage has been reduced slightly for PvP in order to reduce some of that rampy damage potential. But the spell power amplification effect of Incantress Flow is no longer reduced in PvP, which may make it a much more passive appealing options for arenas and battlegrounds. The spec of Arcane is seeing Arcane Missiles damage buffs, with the ability buffed by 15% within PvP. This is a significant change because this will amplify their overall sustain damage as well as burst damage inside of their clear casting windows. With Arcane Mages being one of the less represented specs for PvP, hopefully this change will upgrade the overall damage performance. Fire Mages continues to be incredibly tanky for PvP content, therefore the talent of Blazing Barrier is receiving a 50% nerf within PvP. With the Blazing Barrier talent, mages are able to blink and refresh their barrier, which can be modified with conduits to make him even tankier than ever before. This update will make Fire Mages a little bit less unkillable, but it doesn't take away from the overpowering combustion damage windows or crowd control opportunities. And Frost Mages are seeing some significant damage buffs to the instant damaging abilities. Ice Lance is getting buffed by 15%, and Frozen Orb damage is further increased by 20%. And this change allows for more consistent burst opportunities for Frost Mages within PvP, which is a much better alternative to the current playstyle they've developed over the last few updates of hard-casting Frostbolts, which can be easily interrupted. And hopefully this update will give them a little bit more staying potential for PvP in Season 4. And the healing spec of Mystery Monk is seeing some valuable damage buffs. The abilities of Rising Sun Kick and Black God Kick are seeing an overall 25 performance buff in PvP. This change is mostly there to promote some of the more aggressive Mistweaver gameplay. The spec of Retribution is seeing a lot of damage changes when it comes to PvP. First of all, a lot of the base abilities like Blade of Justice, Crusader Strike, and Hammer Wrath are being amplified in order to buff their overall sustain output. But Avenging Wrath is going to be a much less impactful ability, with its damage, healing, and critical strike getting reduced by quite a bit. This means the sustained damage should be a little bit more reliable when it comes to playing Retribution Paladin, and you may not have to rely on wings nearly as much in order to set up a kill. Though Paladins are generally very heavily tied around the wings cooldown, so this nerf could potentially hurt the overall PvP performance. And only time will tell if this is overall a buff or a debuff for Paladins going forward. And the spec of Holy Priest, arguably the most popular healer for PvP, is finally seeing some nerfs in Season 4. The increased cooldown of Greater Fade is going to reduce some of the survivability capabilities. The 4-piece tier set bonus healing effect has also been reduced for PvP. And the abilities of heal and flash heal are both 10% less effective. The Blue Post also knows that Holy Priests are outperforming every other healer in the game, so these targeted nerfs should hopefully create more of a breathing room for all the other healing playstyles. Then we have the class of Rogue, one of the stronger melee classes for PvP, which is also seeing some damage reductions. First of all, the legendary of Shadow Dust effectiveness is getting cut in half in PvP, which will overall reduce some of the cooldown reduction elements of Outlaw Rogue in arenas. The Nightfake Conduit of Septic Shock is also seeing damage reductions in order to reduce some of the effective burst of Assassination Rogues and the Nightfake Covenant. The Subtlety Rogue Eviscerate ability is also seeing its damage degraded by 10%, which seems like a very small nerf, and the gear acquired in Season 4 could easily make up that difference. And the Subtlety Conduit of Deeper Daggers has also been adjusted to no longer affect external sources like trinkets and even weapon effects. The Restoration Shaman is seeing a slight buff to their tier set output, which is no longer reduced by 30% within PvP, which will give them a little bit more group AoE healing and burst heal opportunities. Then we have the class of Warlock, and similar to Paladins, Warlocks are losing some of the bursty potential but are gaining a lot more sustained damage value. Starting off with Unstable Affliction, which is now default 15% stronger. The Punish and Dispel effect is 20% more effective, but can no longer critical strike to make this ability more consistent. And the damage of Corruption is being amplified by a whopping 30%, which is a very nice quality of life update. However, the haze buff from Dark Soul Misery has been reduced in order to take away some of that spiky, bursty value. The Demonology Warlock Interrupt PvP Talent is also seeing a longer cooldown in order to reduce some of the overall PvP utility. That's going to be all of the changes that we've got announced so far when it comes to our classes' PvE and PvP performance heading into Season 4. And over the next few days, this list will likely expand with more class buffs and nerfs applied in the process. So with that being said, I want to thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about all the class changes happening in the Season 4? Which of the class buffs are you the most excited for? And which class nerfs do you think are unfair? Also, what classes not mentioned in this list should receive more tuning going forward, buffs and nerfs included? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As per always, if you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, in the description of every single video and a live stream, we have a link to our Discord community channel. Probably the best place to reach out to me directly in case you want to let me know what you thought about this video update or discuss these recent class changes with the rest of the channel community. Join our Discord to become part of the community. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.